Hi there, this is Shoshana Shear, back with another video related to my artist's journey. Since putting up the first video, I had a conversation with somebody who'd watched my first video, and that was quite intriguing to me because I only had about 8 views, and already I had a conversation with somebody who asked me 2 questions. We're going to respond to the first question here, and the second answer, or the second question and the answer that goes with it, I'm going to address in a different video. So the person asked me, she was a little bit confused because I'd said in the video that I didn't feel comfortable offering tutorials, and she said to me, as far as she's concerned, I did quite a good tutorial, so she didn't understand why I didn't want to do videos that were tutorials. So I thought about it a little bit, and really that was not the angle of tutorials that I was considering. I was meaning that I didn't feel competent to do an art tutorial. I'm not an art teacher, and I didn't feel as though I had enough of the theory of art behind me or at my fingertips that I could be able to offer a tutorial. Thinking about it, there are actually a couple of things that perhaps I could suggest or do a couple of videos about, but I thought it might be fun to explain a little bit about what an art teacher would be teaching or explaining, and the difference or how that compares to tutorials in general, and try and put this together and see the difference between the types of tutorials that I was meaning and how this person who'd watched my video thought that the video was a tutorial. If we have a look at this image on the screen, we can see this artist has a color wheel in front of him, and I love color, but there's a lot of theory that goes with color. There's a lot about the values and the tones and how to use color, how to combine color. I certainly use color in my art all the time. I love color, but I don't feel competent right now to be teaching too much related to color. And so that's a topic that perhaps I might touch on in passing, but it's really not something that I'm trained in, so I don't feel competent enough to give a artist type of tutorial related to color. I mentioned values and tones, and shadows come into that as well. And in this next image you see an artist who has on his board some images that connect with or relate to values and tones. This is something else that an art teacher is highly skilled in and able to give this information over very clearly. It comes through in their art also very, very well. It's something I'm wanting to master because I'm hoping that if I can master the values and tones, perhaps the use of color a little bit more, that some of the abstract work that I do, I could make a little bit more 3D looking. So that's another topic. The next one, if we have a look here, this is an amusing image. The next topic relates to perspective, and this is an extremely complex, difficult subject. I haven't mastered it as an artist. It's one of the reasons as to why all those years ago when I found myself at home and I was wanting to do art, perspective and foreground, foreshortening, all these kinds of topics is something that I need to improve my art skills related to that whole area of art. And in this image, the artist is really having a field day really going to town with the viewpoint. Let's have a look at a snippet of what this viewpoint is about. Here on this next image you can see 3 shapes. The first is a square, flat 2-dimensional square that you can see straight on. The next one is the square pulled out at an angle, almost on its edge. The next is what we probably would call a trapezium. It's kind of like a triangle that has the top cut off. What's nice about this image is that this gives you an inkling, a little bit of a sense of what perspective is about. If you were to use that shape, perhaps elongate it a little bit more, it could be used as a road or a path or something like that, and it gives you an indication of perspective. It's going deep into the image. Further down, if you were to put that tip on the end of the triangle, you would get that viewpoint, that tip, that end, the vanishing point. And if we have a look at this next image, here you can see something more related to perspective. This image of the cube also brings in a couple of concepts related to light, values, shadows. A highly skilled artist is going to be able to draw these cubes absolutely perfectly, and to be able to explain the direction of the light, why the shadow is cast in certain directions, and so on. These are things that I'm still improving my skills in, and so I do not feel that I'm skilled enough to be able to give an art tutorial on these topics. The next image of the artist is drawing a building that has a garden around, and this could depict a couple of things to an extent: composition, buildings, again perhaps perspective, using geometric shapes, straight lines, having everything absolutely perfect and beautiful. And that obviously is a master artist to an extent. I do draw buildings. I'm looking to improve my drawing of buildings, my drawing of gardens, my drawing of perspectives. And so these are areas that I don't feel as though I have sufficient skill right now, or sufficient of the knowledge of the theory of art, to be able to give artist type tutorials related to these topics. The next slide, you can see a couple of materials, and a good art teacher is going to have a good knowledge as to why you're going to use one material over another. What is the meaning? What are the details, the manufacture details related to the different types of paper? Why would you choose one type of paper over another? Why is this paper good for watercolor and the other one's good for pastels and another one's good for ink drawing and perhaps for drawing with charcoal? Why would you choose one type of paper over another? Why would you use that brand of pencil crayons? Should you be going for a brand of pencil crayons that's oil-based or wax-based? What do these mean? Are you going for a regular type of colored pencils, or are you going for the woodless pencils? So these are all details that an art teacher would know. One of the reasons, unfortunately, that I didn't get to obtain a good grasp of the materials, which I really hoped that I would have, and a reason why I wanted to study art in more detail, is because in high school we used really newsprint type of paper, a very simple type of paper, and the paint that we used was tempera paint, which was a powder paint that we'd mix up with water. We didn't test out using watercolors, pastels. I think we might have used charcoal a little bit. Pencils we used at home for our sketching that we had exercises doing was all just what we did at home. We were not given any instruction as to why you would use a 2B pencil versus a 4B pencil. Would you go into a hard pencil? Why would you choose one over another? We didn't learn anything about the different markings that are possible in ink drawing. There's so many different techniques, there's so many different mediums, and these are things that I do not feel that I yet have the skills to be able to teach. I'm looking to improve my art skills, and perhaps I could do some videos related to some challenges or show some progress of my art. Those are ideas that I'm throwing out there, and if that's of interest to you, please let me know. In this next slide, you can see somebody standing in front of a class or a group of people. There are some pictures around her or behind her, and perhaps this would depict giving a different type of a tutorial. The type of video that I shared was using images and explaining some of my story, and certainly giving over information, discussing symbols and the experience or the journey or certain images and sharing stories. Those are things that I could do videos about. And I do hear the perspective of the person who watched my video, that she felt that that was a tutorial. So I stand to be corrected. Perhaps there are certain tutorials that I could offer, but it's the artist type of tutorial that I do not feel able to do at this stage. And partly because I'm not an art teacher. I've used art. I could share some things about the healing process of art, or how I've used art in occupational therapy. I have a couple of fun ideas that I'm playing with how to develop into videos, and I hope you're going to enjoy them. If this video has answered the question for you, if you've perhaps had that question yourself, or if it gives you other ideas of videos that you'd like me to be doing, do put a comment in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video at all, please like the video, do all those things like sharing it, subscribe. Let me know what it is that you'd like to see in further videos related to my artist journey. So with that, I wish you a very blessed day, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. Ciao for now.